Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
We start with the Cowboys. All right, the Dallas Cowboys regret paying Ezekiel Elliott.
What?
You know how I know?
Oh.
Because Jerry Jones is publicly posturing like he doesn't regret it. Yesterday, Jerry proclaimed his love and admiration for Zeke on a Dallas radio station.
I want to be real clear about something. Zeke is one of the best football players in the National Football League. And it makes no sense not to be trying to get the ball to Zeke or get the plays in and around Zeke.
Listen, I want to be real clear about something, too. Zeke is being outplayed by Tony Pollard. It makes no sense for the Cowboys not to be trying to get the ball to Pollard more often. You know how I know this? Because Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore agrees with me. Yesterday, Moore had some interesting and enlightening comments about Pollard and Zeke. Here's what he said about Pollard. We were able to get some stuff that gave us a great opportunity. Get the ball in his hands. Let him be Tony. Good things are going to happen. Pollard is a rookie fourth-round pick out of Memphis. He has a base salary of $495,000, which is approximately what Marcellus and Anna Marie pay their nanny. Okay. Here's what Moore had to say about Zeke. At the end of the day, we've got the highest paid runner and a really, really good offensive line that draws attention. Whether it eventually flips or impacts in other ways, as we continue to throw it, we'll keep doing what we do. And I think for myself, hey, we've got to find different ways. Maybe we need to approach it a little bit differently from a run game perspective. The highest paid runner, of course, is Zeke Elliott. He signed a $90 million contract extension this summer. He's being outplayed by a guy earning nanny wages. You know how I know this? The eye test and the stat test. Pollard is averaging more yards per carry and reception than Zeke. And Pollard has yet to turn the ball over this season, while Zeke has coughed it up twice. Zeke is underperforming. Everybody knows it. That's why Jerry's defending Zeke in public, and that's why Moore is singing the praises of Pollard. I hate to go here because I'm the king of bad investments, but I'm going to violate one of the football Bible's strongest tenets. Let he who hath not invested in the wrong person cast the first paycheck. But Zeke was a bad investment. He's not a reliable or responsible human being. The nose ring and the hair tell you everything you need to know. It's like a stripper back tat. You know she ain't the one. People like Zeke have no clue there's a responsibility that goes along with accepting generosity. We've all been there. I know I have. When she says, I didn't tell you to do that. That's Zeke. Cowboys made a bad investment. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analyst Mark Schlereth and LeVar Arrington, another bad investment.
Thank you.
Marcellus, we'll start with you.
Another bad creation. I'm ABC.
Oh, man.
Think the Cowboys already regret paying Zeke Elliott.
Woo. There's some juice to what you just laid out there, but I think regret is strong. Strong with a K, like too much in terms of regret. What I think is happening is reality. I'll take you back to my playing days when Rodney Harrison walked up to me as soon as I signed on the dotted line with the San Diego Chargers. And he said, never forget this, young pup. As soon as they give you the money, they're already thinking about how to get it back. What does that mean? Translated, expectations. Let's go back to last year before Zeke got paid. And they were in that Rams game, and he had 20 rushes for 47 yards. And everyone left giving Zeke a pass, saying, you know what, next year, let's make sure Zeke has something left in the tank when it matters most. And actually, this may be the game plan to give him something left in the tank when it matters most. Zeke has had 3 games over 100 yards in the last 5. The last 2, we understand, not being up to Zeke's performance level. But that actually enables Dak to give them the balancing act that they don't have when they're in these critical moments in terms of perception. I'm not even talking about reality. I'm talking about perception. No one believes their eyes when they see the film of Dak Prescott darting these teams, including defensive coordinators. So they go out there and say, man, still load the box. It's Zeke. He's the engine. And Dak is taking advantage of this. And Kellen Moore is incentivized. One, this is his friend. He was in the quarterback room with him when he was at a lesser position. Two, he's now the offensive coordinator calling these plays saying, you know what? Let's take advantage of what they give us. Zeke is not something you regret. He's something you're taking care of until it matters most.
Yeah, I'm 100%. I don't think they regret paying Zeke at all. I mean, I think Zeke is the actuator of that offense. When you go out there, the first thing you have to do as a defender is stop that running game. Stop that offensive line. Stop Zeke. He catches the ball out of the backfield as well. He's a powerful guy. He'll run you over. And I know this, having played for a long time. I know when we beat you over the top in the passing game, you know what you say as a defense? You know what? We blew a coverage. Damn, that stinks. But when we go out there and go 5 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards, 8 yards, 14 yards, and we're saying we're coming down your throat. What are you gonna do now? Because we're gonna push this ball down your throat. What you gonna do? That's humiliating to a defense. And Zeke is a guy that can humiliate defenses. And so he is a very viable option. I think he's taken a lot of pressure and created a lot of opportunity for Dak Prescott.
There's no regret whatsoever. And that whole worst rankings and worst this, second worst that is actually a great statistic for Zeke and this Dallas team. And the reason being is, you look at Tony Pollard, he's benefiting from Dak being that guy. You look at Dak Prescott, he's benefiting from Ezekiel being that guy. So I take issue with the whole underperforming thing. Yeah. When you look at the stats that Zeke is putting up, it is, and I tried to say this clearly yesterday. I got caught up, but maybe that's because I'm a bad investment. But when you look at what defenses are doing, you got to look at what's taking place in Baltimore. Why is Baltimore having so much success? Why is Lamar having so much success throwing the ball? Because he's able to run the ball. Why is he having so much success running the ball? Because when they try to stop him running, he's throwing the ball. So right now, they are trying to stop Dallas's run. Why is Tony Pollard having so much success? Because you're not game planning for Tony Pollard. Oh, it's great. Tony Pollard's doing better than Ezekiel. Pay Ezekiel, or don't pay Ezekiel, play Tony. That's bogus. He gives everybody an opportunity to have success, and that's why he's important.
Real quick, when Tony Pollard comes in the game, you know what you're facing? 2 high safeties, nobody in the box.
Nobody in the box.
Wait. When Zeke is in there, I guarantee you it's 8 and 9 men down.
Tell me this, though. Tell me this. Jerry Jones watches more Cowboys football than any of us combined, I would imagine. Why is he on radio? Listen, guys, let me tell you something. Zeke's one of the best football players in the National Football. Why is he doing it? You don't say that unless he knows there are some people, and we're not just talking about fans, there are some people like, damn, did Zeke get over on us? Did he reach his finish line? Was that contract his finish line?
Behind his guy.
No. Y'all have to know who Jerry Jones is, and a guy who took some of his money because of underachievement. I certainly know Jerry Jones well. Let me tell you what Jerry Jones did. He put himself in this position, chasing his own tail. Jerry Jones has 3 Super Bowl rings, but Jerry Jones acts like a starved owner who's never had success. So what does he do? He creates his own problems by creating the tension in the air. I need a ring now. When there are so many franchises, more than not, that don't have a ring at all. But that anxiety's in the air. So what it does, it makes Jerry prematurely pay Ezekiel Elliott. Why? Because he's listening to his fan base. Because he's caught up in that same ecosystem as them. We need a ring now instead of having some equity and a Hall of Fame owner that you are. So what he did, he paid Zeke. And then as soon as Zeke hit a dry patch, he started listening to his fan base again. Instead of sitting there, shoulders down, saying, I'm Jerry Jones, the Hall of Famer. I'm constructing this, and this is going to work. When he doesn't show any faith and any confidence in his plan, the fans won't, and then he tries to appease them.
He paid you because he thought you was a Charles Haley coming up into the Dallas Cowboys.
A little less than that.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear,
I was a beast, though.
He is chasing repeatedly the process, the look of what it was when he had success. And he's trying to do it void of having Jim Johnson doing it. So he looks at Ezekiel Elliott as being his modern day Emmitt Smith. He was hoping.
Emmitt Smith, a very reliable person.
Okay, but he's looking, he believes that Ezekiel Elliott is that guy.
In production.
He is looking for that. That's why he wanted to bring Jason Whitlock.
Offensive line the same.
Offensive line.
Why did Kellen Moore say...
Because he doesn't know what he's talking about.
No. Maybe we need to approach it a little bit differently from a run game perspective. That's the offensive coordinator. There's a problem. Zeke, when I watch the Cowboys, I see Zeke missing some holes. I've seen Troy Aikman hint at it when he calls the game. I've heard other broadcasters hint at it. Like Zeke's visions he's not running the same. And Tony Pollard.
Hold on now. I was a tailback. A tailback that has vision doesn't necessarily mean that he's always going to see the hole. He has to get the ball. He's like a shooting guard in basketball. He has to get into the flow of the game. Moore needs to give him the ball more if we're sitting here saying that he's not seeing the holes. It's not that he doesn't have vision. You got to know where the holes are breaking. How are they trying to play you? Are they slanting? Are they running stunts? Are they ET stunts? Are they TE stunts? Are they outside stunts?
Do I got $90 million in the bank or do I not?
Well, they have to make those decisions.
Right. I would also say some of that may be, hey, you know what? From a running game perspective, we need to do a better job of taking some of these heavy boxes off of him, meaning we need to start throwing it on first down. We need to start throwing it in situations where they expect the run and start running it in situations where they expect the pass. So to give him a little lighter load in that regard. Sometimes it's the way you call plays. I say this about protection all the time. People rag on an offensive line and say, well, they can't protect. Well, I say that coach has no idea how to create protection, how to take care of the guys up front. So, like, there is a principle here when it comes to calling plays, stacking plays, and creating opportunities for your players to have success as opposed to creating opportunities for your players to have failure. And that's how you call plays and how you set plays up. And a lot of that comes on the coordinators in this league.
Wait a minute. First of all, let's stop hyping up Tony Pollard to be something that he has not shown us yet.
Not.
Tony Pollard in the last 3 games,
he did math. He did math.
Which 2 of them have been wins.
Talk about him.
6 carries, y'all.
Come on.
5 catches.
Come on.
We all stop. Second of all, the Cowboys season has been a tale of 2 seasons. 3-2 in the first 5, 3-2 in the second 5. But Zeke started off in terms of numbers and production actually better in the first half. But what happened was he was getting fewer carries because of Cabo. Then they give him more carries and not necessarily the same number in production. So what Kellen Moore is alluding to is we have to find the perfect equation to the calculus that maximizes what we're doing. Because right now, we're just basically the same team that we were before, but the dynamic is changing. Dak is better than Zeke for our offense.
When you put 9 men in a box, there is no reading. There is no reading a defense. You have 9 holes to begin with, 0 through 8, 0 through 7. You have 9 holes. If you're stacking the box with 9 guys and you're bringing a single high, you have a single high safety, there is no holes to read. They're filling all the gaps to stop them, and they have to say, like you said, like the
you're the highest paid
did,
player at your position.
They got to block.
They pay you to fix problems and to be an engine, and it doesn't matter. Did it matter how many they put in the box when Walter Payton was running? When Jim Brown, they paying him like he's Jim Brown, Walter Payton, O.J. Simpson.
Mattered.
Any of these guys.
You got to block.
He's not producing. He put the ball on the ground. He's put it on the ground twice. He's lost 2 fumbles. The guy's hinting at it. And again, when I watch it, just my eye test, Tony Pollard, I love these quotes from Kellen Moore because it was like, when I watched him on Sunday, I said, this is what I thought.
What?
Let him be Tony. Good things are going to happen.
Yeah. You know what Tony is? A carry a game, maybe 2, maybe 3 if he balling out.
And he's talking. He just get the ball in his hands.
Stop reading Moore's quotes, man.
No. That is human psychology. Be real. No one wants to be Wally pipped. I was just in Cabo. If I would have got a bunch of texts and DMs, hey, man, you better hurry back. LeVar out there killing the game. I would have took a private jet up here through a hurricane storm just to get my butt back here. Look, that's
cold-blooded, so that means I'm not doing anything.
No, that means I ain't have reception in a hurricane. I ain't get those texts. But my point is, you hype up Tony Pollard just to give a little pitch to Ezekiel, like, hey, man, a little inconsistent.
Why are they giving Zeke a pinch?
Because
I'm right. He's underperforming.
No, it's not so much underperformance. It's just like, Zeke, we know you can do more. That's not underperformance. You're still doing great. Look, he has 3 of the last 5 games over 100.
They're 6-4. Yeah, they're number 1 in their division.
Yeah, don't do that.
They're improving. Dak is playing very well.
Can you improve, Whitlock?
You think Jerry paid for 6-4?
No,
he didn't pay for 6-4.
But he paid a lot more players than Zeke. So he needed to just say, look, we have collective issues. Don't put it all on Zeke in that respect. Everybody got paid this year.
On Zeke. Whitlock and Wiley, Mark Schlereth and LeVar Arrington are back. Time now for a big story. Let's move to Antonio Brown, who surprised a lot of people around the NFL yesterday, posted an apology to the Patriots on social media, but the reaction to the Browns' post made waves as well, with Tom Brady and other Patriots players liking the post on Instagram, sparking a lot of speculation about when AB would return to the NFL and if the Patriots actually want the outlandish receiver back. All right, Marcellus, think Tom Brady and the Patriots want AB back?
Oh, I think they certainly do. And I think it's very short-sighted in terms of what they're considering.
Of course.
As all players, we're very short-sighted. Yeah. We lead with the talent conversation, and we try to end with the talent conversation as well, without putting all the other factors into consideration. So players, look, let's just be real. We don't suffer the same consequences that upstairs management and ownership suffers when we're wrong. We just say, look, the guy can play, he can help us, and let's just go through this. And if it fails, well, we still got to go out here and chop wood as a team. But upstairs, they have different factors, different variables. So I respect the organization that pauses on AB because they don't have trust in terms of how he's going to work in the organization. And that's not on the field. That's what the players are focused on. They're talking about as a member of an organization. So players, you can want them all you want, but upstairs, they sing a different tune.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, you saw Tom Brady, I think it was yesterday, say, hey, man, the way we win right now is special teams and defense. Like, we're winning games because of our defense and because of our special teams. And you think this offense doesn't want to toe its weight? Of course they do. So they look at Antonio Brown from the standpoint of he's a special player, and he could help us. And I think offensively, from a receiving standpoint, you need 2 big-time threats, right? To open up, you don't need to have 4 or 5, but you need 2 guys. One to open up, or one to tie up the middle of the field to open up the outside, and another guy to tie up the outside to open up the middle of the field. And you as a defense, you have to decide who we're going to double. We can't double team everybody, right? People are going to be open. So Antonio Brown gives you, if you do go sign him, he gives you that. I think players look at it like, hey, man, we can weather the storm. We can weather a little bit of selfishness. We can weather a little bit of a nonsense.
Right.
Because what do we got left? 6, 7 games? We got 6 games, whatever it is, and then we make a playoff run? We look at ourselves right now as an offense and say, can we win a world championship? Can the confetti fall for us if we don't have another legitimate weapon on the offensive side of the ball? And I think they're looking at it from an offensive standpoint going, no. So now we're going to have to rely on, can this defense win us a championship? We don't know, but they want to be productive. So I think that's what they're looking at. So, yeah, they would love to have Antonio Brown or another weapon like that.
My man Country Wayne said it best. Let this one sizzle in your spirit, all right? AB puts that out there. We asked the question on the show yesterday, did you feel like it was genuine? Your answer was?
No.
No, right? Now, it wasn't genuine, but yet it was put out there, and it was liked by multiple players, none bigger than the name of one Tom Brady. Let's add on to this. Baltimore thrashed them.
Yes, they did.
Showed them that they did not have enough talent. There's a possibility he could be able to play. There's a possibility he could be ruled out, but yet we saw a dejected Tom Brady after a victory because he didn't have what he wanted, right? I'm sitting here, conspiracy theory. Here's the sizzle in your spirit type deal. Tom Brady told him to send that tweet out. Tom Brady is trying to direct getting AB back in the midst of that New England Patriots organization. I was trying to put together why I felt so skeptical about when Tom Brady had the quote that, I mean, what does it matter what I feel? You know, it doesn't matter. They don't care. And he said something to that effect. That isn't verbatim, but he said something to that effect. There's something here. Tom Brady is lobbying to get get AB back on this.
I need tinfoil. I need a tinfoil hat. Now I want to go back through all of Tom Brady's tweets and see if he's ever used a semicolon.
Oh, there you go.
Let me find out he uses semicolons.
What?
He wrote the tweet.
He wrote the tweet. TV 12.
I'm right to what you're saying is not crazy. I'm not sure if I believe it, but it's not crazy. And you got at my point. Everything that's going on with the Patriots is driven by fear of Lamar. And fear of Lamar is sweeping the NFL.
Sure it is.
And because there's no solution right now. And so they're like, oh my God, we can't fix it on defense. So the solution may be scoring more points and Antonio Brown. And so this is all fear. And when you add in, look, man, the Patriots, and this, I'm not trying to take a shot at them. I do respect the Patriots, although I root against them every Sunday. They are a push-the-envelope organization.
Yeah.
They're going to Spygate you. They're going to Deflategate you. They're going to tuck rule you. They're going to do whatever they can. They're a and so, because to me, bringing AB back would be a push-the-envelope moment. And maybe they feel like for Tom in this moment, he couldn't talk Gronk into coming back this year. Tom in this moment at 42 struck. Nobody wants to see Tom go out not performing well. There's no one in football. I don't want to see that.
He don't want to go out that
he don't
way.
want. And so
that's why he wrote that tweet.
Yeah, if AB can help, I think the Patriots, perhaps they do it. And maybe they sign him before the league even says what the suspension is, because really all they care about is postseason.
Look, was there a fear to Alex Smith when they went to Foxborough and beat him down? Like, this is a team that can go 2-2 and win a Super Bowl. They've been there. This is a team that...
You're not comparing Alex Smith to Lamar. I love Alex Smith.
I'm just saying the effect. I know that it looks different. It feels different, but Lamar Jackson, I went to the game last year, LA Chargers. I was like, woo, we in trouble. And we saw him in 2 weeks, and he was in trouble. Look, this is different. Don't make me
Playoffs
slight.
is always different.
This is not.
I don't know much about it, but
they've won 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. Like they've been 2-2. They've been.
Nobody's running this system.
And nobody ran that system last year. And then they went into the playoffs and
lost.
That was a kid, a 21-year-old.
He's still a kid.
He's still the same.
I understand. He got more experience.
I mean, he ain't drinking like that.
But I will say
it's
say this.
It's different, but it could be the same.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you that it is different. He's a much better thrower of the football, and they have, now than he was then, and they have developed him, but they've also added to this offense. This offense is so much deeper in the run game.
Yes,
there are so many more things that they're doing now.
Better on defense.
And they are unbelievable. You think about this now defensively. They lost C.J. Mosley.
Yes,
they lost Suggs.
Yep.
They lost Zadarius Smith. They lost Weddle.
Oh, wow.
And they may be better. I mean, they are incredible what they're doing right now on the defensive side of the ball. But this offense has evolved, and it's evolved in the passing game, basically saying, here are your strengths. We are going to lean on these strengths, young man, and you're going to continue to develop. They've done a great job.
I'm going to use your own words against you, because I went back either yesterday or the day before and looked at what was said a year ago about Lamar.
Yeah.
And you said comfort is the only thing that's holding this dude back.
I'm right. Yeah.
And you're not telling me this dude's not more comfortable now?
Absolutely. But that doesn't mean you're comfortable enough. Look, when you get in the playoffs, they look at plan A and they say, just tear that up, y'all. What's plan B? Because we're going to start there. We are going to manipulate this game to a point where you have to play outside of your comfort zone. And if they are effective, the Patriots have shown more than anyone else that they're effective at doing that. Even though the Patriots, when they see a team again in the postseason, actually fails against them.
Okay, but here's the strength of New England's defense.
Yeah.
Those corners playing man-to-man against your wide receivers.
Ooh.
Man-to-man lets Lamar loose in the running game.
Lets him
Y'all
go.
have proved
And then,
the
hold
point
on.
of the entire segment.
And then the other thing is,
Why they want him.
Lamar's passing is to the tight ends and running backs. So you can take away the wide receivers, but you really haven't hurt Lamar Jackson. Fear of Lamar is driving this. They want Antonio Brown. I don't think there's nothing wrong with being afraid of. I don't have any problem with fear
look at
driving.
that picture.
That's not a sign of weakness.
Look at that picture back there.
Yeah.
if you don't think for 2 seconds Tom Brady's face right there isn't thinking, this is my key to a Super Bowl right here.
Yeah.
That's why.
But that's not in totality. Think about it. Married men up here, right?
Yep.
And you.
Yeah. And then you.
And this guy.
Yep.
But look, my son every night he eats his dinner and he looks at me, Dad, it's time for dessert. Marshmallows, ice cream, whatever.
Dang.
I'm sitting there like, let's do it.
Right.
And then my wife is sitting there like, do you know what that's going to do to his little system? Bubble guts every night. So what happens? You have to respect that someone else has a different
Y'all really go
point.
through that whole...
every night.
That
Because
communication
every night I'm a player. Every night I'm like, let's do this. And every night my wife's like, chill out, because there's a greater consequence.
I don't really think it's about your son. I think she just doesn't want you to get fat.
Yeah. And Tom wants AB, and that's why he wrote that tweet.
Yeah.
Joined now by NBA champion, two-time NBA champion, David West, former Pacer, more famously. Actually, I'm a Pacer fan. All right, David West. David, you're involved with something I was reading up on last night. The Historical Basketball League wants to be disruptive to the NCAA college basketball system and amateurism. You're the chief operating officer. Explain the concept behind and why you're involved with the Historical Basketball League and where it's at right now.
Okay. Well, we're a college league that intends to compensate players between the ages of 18 and 23. So think of 5 years of eligibility post high school. We want to cut down all of the things that go on with under-the-table payments and all these different things. We want to be a legitimate option for players who don't want to go into the current system that exploits them.
So, in your model, all players involved would have some guaranteed salary structure. Yeah. Can you talk a little more about that?
Yeah. So our players initially would be, it'd be just like a job. We come out, they'd apply for a position. Obviously we're going to look for the top talent, recruit the top 150 in the U.S., top 75 to 100 internationally, and also recruit, players who are looking to transfer who are in the current college system without penalty. So coming into our league without being penalized or have to sit. And
so a guy would go to college and study, but play basketball in your league.
Yeah, so we're going to separate education and athletics. So they'll play basketball, play their sport in the summer, like a summer job, be compensated for it. And then in September through the rest of the year, they'd be like a regular college student. We're not going to limit them to, only 4-year universities, trade schools, vocational schools, online.
Would y'all pay for them to go to college?
Yep. They're going to have academic scholarships as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've been working, COO. Okay. Well, you're getting these guys prepared and taking care of them for them to become hopefully NBA players. And right now, the NBA ratings are down 2 consecutive years, up to 27%.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley thinks that it's because these players of today are spoiled. Back in his days and before him, crappy shoes, players flow commercial, made only $100,000 a year. And now we got guys who are not loyal to a team, not loyal to a city, making $50 million a year. Where do you come down on that on this issue of ratings?
Well, I would say, I think right now, I just think people are watching the game in different ways. I don't think the young consumers are as interested in sitting down and watching the game as they are in watching highlights. But the interest in the game is what I think, to me, is more indicative of where the game is. I don't know if load management, if fans are feeling that. I mean, I know there's some times when there's an anticipation of a big game, big matchup, they want the guys to be on the floor. I'm a big proponent of if you're healthy, you should play. Yeah, if you're healthy, you should play. I'm a big proponent of that.
You are?
Yeah, and then beyond that, there's special circumstances where guys are banged up. A guy, may have, legitimate grievances and, wants to make sure that he's healthy when it counts.
Well, even though that the human body and any athlete knows that rest is an important part of recovery and building up your game, how come load management has a negative connotation when you're really trying to run a marathon, and that means you don't sprint every single step?
Yeah. I don't know. I think that word or that term, because usually it was just, like a few years ago, it was just rest.
Yeah, or guys tendinitis.
Right, guys banged up, sore.
Or hungover.
Exactly. Why is it bad now? You guys had it in your era.
Right. So I think the name is sort of stigmatized what it actually is. But I think some guys have legitimate health, grievances. I was thinking about it. I was having a conversation yesterday, and I remember there was a whole season, my back, was so jacked up. I mean, I couldn't sit on a chair. So I literally was on the physio ball, during timeouts when I was sitting on the bench because my back literally couldn't handle, the sturdiness of a chair. So you make these decisions to play. I was dealing with numbness down my leg that whole season. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sitting on that ball and I'm saying, well, I'm going to play, one way or the other. So it's really up to the individual, but the circumstances around the guy's injury, if a guy's really banged up, needs that time, you got to give it to him.
All right, David, do you have any interest in being a television broadcaster? Because I'm about to put you to the test.
Okay.
We're going to talk Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Where are you at on Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah.
Do you think he can help the Portland Trail Blazers? 4-14 last night. Where are you at on
listen,
Melo?
I think, I'm glad Melo's in the league because there are guys who are in the league that individually to a man he's better than, but he's not going to change the outcome of the Portland Trail Blazers. I don't personally think.
Same team can't get over the hump.
I mean, again, Melo's a guy who's capable, but he's not what he was. None of us are, right? You ultimately get to a point where you've got to change and you've got to alter. What Portland needs is a 25-year-old Melo. You know what I mean? They need a Carmelo 10 years ago. I think that changes their fortunes. Who he is now, I think he's going to be solid. Hopefully a veteran presence, but they're up against it in the West, and if they're thinking that bringing him in is going to somehow change their long-term fortunes, I just don't see that.
It's weird that with Carmelo,
not bad. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a COO for a reason. We use the birth certificate to help our argument against Carmelo, but then we look at LeBron at this age right now, and the pace he is going out there and starting this season, 25, 11, and 10 last night.
Right.
Now he has a triple-double against every single NBA team. Can he keep up this pace at this age?
I mean, listen, this guy's always been different from the rest of us.
Okay.
He's always been at a level that, like someone like myself is always, sort of admired, knowing, one of the things that I think is most important about a professional athlete is being honest with yourself. Like, you got to be truthful about who you are, where you are. And, you can't measure yourself. Nobody should try to measure themselves against this dude. Like, you just can't do it because he's at a realm, and he's been at a realm and a stage in his basketball life that, some of us, again, you just can't measure what you are or who you are and then look at him and say, well, LeBron.
So this broadcaster audition has just continued. Are you saying LeBron's the GOAT? Is he better than Jordan?
Don't do that, David.
It's going to end quick.
Don't take the bait. He's trying to bait you. Don't take. Don't disrespect.
Listen,
Mike.
what I've said.
You said he's
not
different than everybody.
He's different than everybody, man.
Everybody. That includes Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and so again, when you're talking about moments. Man, LeBron hasn't been great in those big moments.
There you go.
But to a man, basketball-wise, on the floor, we've never seen anybody better.
Oh, I knew I'd get it out of him.
Come on, man. I just can't.
I'm a Pacer fan. I hated Mike growing up. But you can't disrespect Mike.
Listen, I understand. I'm not disrespecting Mike. I'm not disrespecting. Mike was great. But I just think what LeBron has been able to do, the level that he's able to compete at, it's just like nothing we've ever seen, man.
Well, I got a personal question I got to ask you. It's related to LeBron, too. And I wish I had done the research to remember exactly which games, what series, but I know you played in them.
Yeah.
Pacers versus LeBron. And there were a couple times where I thought, not you, but I thought the entire Pacer team, or not the entire, but a lot, very intimidated by LeBron.
Yeah.
And that cost us a series.
Yeah. So we weren't intimidated by him, right? Because we had a locker room full of guys that would step to the fight.
Like you.
But we couldn't get to the level that he's capable of getting to. And I think that's what you realize. Like when you feel the fact that, you can play your heart out and play as hard as you possibly. And I remember feeling like this, like literally, man.
No, I remember.
D. West, this is you. Like, you ain't got nothing else. Like, you rebounding, you elbowing, you grabbing, you being as strong, physical as you need, and it's not enough because you can feel that surge, that energy that he has, the ability to just, we had them down 2-1, in our building, and he just got to a level that we couldn't match. You know, and when he's in the right environment, that's contagious to the other guys. It translates to the other.
It's a hell of a point. Everything he said is true, except for
The GOAT!
Mike. I want to apologize for your own David's
The
behalf.
king is the GOAT.
Always the GOAT. Time for Darnell's question of the day. Darnell, take it away.
My guy. My question of the day. All right, guys, let's move to Myles Garrett, who's in New York today for the appeal of his definite suspension for hitting Mason Rudolph with a helmet last week. Garrett has admitted fault for the incident. But on the other side, Mike Tomlin didn't admit anything after being asked what coaches can do to prevent future brawls. Check this out.
I don't know. You got to ask those guys. You know, I don't know that we did anything to make it happen anyway in the first place. That's why I said that we didn't have anything to learn from it.
You guys have an issue with Tomlin saying this?
No, he's 100% right. I got no issue. Tomlin's 1,000. What did they do? They were a victim.
They were victims?
They were the victim.
Oh, man. Okay, let me answer this question before I attack that victim statement right there. Look, Mike Tomlin is absolutely correct in his matter-of-fact way of speaking.
Look at that helmet.
You take responsibility, but there's nothing to teach. My player went rogue. Nobody told Mason Rudolph to go up there and not properly calculate the physics of this moment, try to take off Myles Garrett's helmet unsuccessfully. Try to agitate him and jump in and gang up on him unsuccessfully. And then, obviously, Myles Garrett, you shouldn't do that. But it was instigated, agitated, continued, all by one victim, supposedly, Mason Rudolph. So what I love about Mike Tomlin is he's like, look, people forget I have the third most wins as an active head coach. But they always remember to talk about my team and how undisciplined it is. So guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to take this on the chin. I'm not going to say this is a Pittsburgh Steelers issue. But what I am going to do is go grab Mason Rudolph in private, double tap that shoulder, say, hey, look, tomorrow, which is today, I want you to go out there to the media and own this. And guess what Mason Rudolph did?
He went out to the media.
He went out to the media and owned it. So Mike Tomlin handled it the way a coach should handle it. Privately, Mason Rudolph, you know you went rogue, you know you went wrong, and that's why you had to deal with it.
Man, it's funny because I originally said that, you know, Mike Tomlin is ultimately responsible for setting it up. But then I had to go back, and as I walked out, I was thinking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And whenever we lined up and played the Pittsburgh Steelers, we kind of knew what kind of game we were expecting. There's a culture that has been established in Pittsburgh where how they play it to the line and maybe a little bit beyond the line. And
Are you talking about the Browns?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the Steelers. Part of the reason why you saw the Browns act like they act is because when you play the Steelers, you better bring your A game and you better bring the physicality or you're going to get hit in the mouth.
The Browns had 3 helmet-to-helmet hits.
That's a game.
guy getting in the game.
That's not culture.
In that game.
Yeah, that's...
And a guy, Myles Garrett has no culture. He's been, you know, how many times he got to get fined and suspended? But anyway,
how many puppies he needs to adopt, and how much poetry he needs to write, and how many piano lessons does he give out? Don't talk about that man like
14
that.
seconds.
You better stand up for Pittsburgh.
I'm super consistent here. I can't do it here. There's 14 seconds left in the game. You're down by 2 touchdowns. Explain this one to me. Hold on now. You were a lineman. You were a tight end. My bad. You were a tight end at Ball State. All right.
When?
Now when they were running screen plays at Ball State and you was tight end, right?
No, he wasn't.
What did y'all do to the defenders when y'all ran screens?
You let them go.
Yeah.
Therein is the truth that shall set you free, my friends. 14 seconds left. You down by 2 touchdowns, and you run a screen where you let the defensive lineman go. Coach Tomlin, you my guy. I am a Steelers fan, and I'm a Tomlin fan. But if you're going to own something, you better Twitter off calling a screen with 14 seconds left in a non-winnable game. That's what I'm talking about.
How about we just go to the class where in 101 logic and rhetoric and in debate class, the best thing to do is use someone's words against them to strangle them.
Yes.
Mason Rudolph said, I didn't like the way he tackled me.
Come on, man.
Oh, sorry, Mason.
Little bit of extra.
First of all, let me take you through this real quick. Mason Rudolph got hit, and then it clicked in Myles Garrett's head while he was in the air. Let him land on me so I don't get this penalty. This game over. He lands on him. Mason Rudolph is upset. Miles Garrett's like, wait a minute, have you ever taken a physics class? While he's getting his helmet yanked off, unsuccessfully, he says, oh, little man, this ain't gonna work. Then Mason kicks him in the manhood.
Marcellus.
And then Miles Garrett got his helmet. Can I finish? Yeah. And then he's back. He got two teammates and a ref all pushing him back. And here comes Mason. Hey, big man, I can fight. I'm coming to get my helmet. But no, you're not. And guess what? That's when it all went black.
Marcellus,
and it shouldn't have went there.
You were in Cabo last week when we all agreed. Oh. We all agreed.
We all agree what?
I'm about to tell you what we all agreed upon. And
I wasn't there.
But we all agreed.
What we do?
Mason Rudolph tugged at his helmet.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you see that?
You're not a party to that.
That thing don't come out with no tug. That thing don't come out unless you try to get it.
It was established.
Hey, Whitlock did say tug the entire show.
Joined again by Mark Slareth and Bucky Brooks. Time now for the most fearless discussion of the day. All right, let's return again to the symbol formerly known as Colin Kaepernick and Cap's Life Matter movement. Kaepernick lawyer Mark Gergeros told the Adam Carolla show on Tuesday that two teams have shown an interest in the silent symbol. Gergeros predicted that something will happen within the next 10 days. Gergeros said, there are two teams that I think are in the hunt. One who is legitimately in need of a quarterback who had a very poor showing on Sunday and has got an owner that I don't think gives a spit. Okay, let's keep in mind that Gergeros has made these proclamations before. Once every couple of months, Gergeros claims some team will sign Cap within a set time frame. So far, Gergeros has been wrong. But let's play along here. Let's assume he's talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are currently quarterbacked by the human interception machine, famous Jameis Winston. Jameis tossed 4 interceptions and a loss to the Saints on Sunday. Winston leads the NFL with 18 picks. Winston, the #1 overall pick in 2015, is done in Tampa and maybe in the NFL as a starter after this season. The 3-7 Buccaneers are led by the wokest coach in the NFL. Bruce Arians, brother Bruce, has named 2 women to his coaching staff and would love nothing more than to serve as football's Angelo Dundee to Muhammad Ali. Coaching an NFL game in a signature Colin Kaepernick designed Kunta Kinte t-shirt would complete brother Bruce's woke resume. Can't you see Bruce signaling in plays to Kaepernick with a glove closed fist in the air? A move to sign Kaepernick would ensure Arians' induction into the Woke Hall of Fame in Silicon Valley alongside other first ballot inductees, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, and Marcellus' best friend, Max Kellerman.
Oh, man.
Any team that signs Kaepernick in the aftermath of his Atlanta circus is far more interested in a political statement than a football one. At this point, support for Cap is a sign of pity, and pity is an emotion people shower on those they deem inferior. All right, guys. Marcellus, get us rolling. Should Bruce Arians and the Bucs be interested in Colin Kaepernick?
No. Let me be narrowly focused, and we can go farther than that if necessary. As woke as Bruce Arians is, he still hires black coordinators that are capable. Byron Leftwich, Steve Wilkes. Like, capability is part of that equation, not just I'm so woke that I'm just going to go this way without thinking about can they do the job. And unfortunately, watching Colin Kaepernick in that workout, I don't think he can do the job. Let me preface this by saying I gave him a B- grade and try to factor in all things considered. When I was growing up and in school, that was a C+. That's where I think this performance was, because it was on air with no adverse conditions, no pass rush, no reading coverages, not multiple routes and progressions. This was just a guy who was throwing the ball on air. And everyone here has been around an NFL practice, a 7-on-7, any retired quarterback on air. It is laser tag. They will dart you to destruction in on-air practice sessions. When I see this, I'm grading it on that in terms of reference. And I didn't see amazing accuracy. I saw amazing arm strength, and I saw accuracy issues. He made some good throws, he made some horrible throws. But more times than not, it was off-ball placement. So where does he land with the Buccaneers? Jameis Winston's gone. Let's just be real about that. And then in your backup is a 7th-year player, Ryan Griffin, never got on the field ever in New Orleans or Tampa Bay. So is this going to be your starter, Colin Kaepernick, or is he going to be your backup in terms of how he's going to fit in your organization? I don't see where he lands at the Tampa Bay Bucks.
No, look, man, Bruce Arians is one of the more progressive coaches in the National Football League, maybe the most progressive. 3 African-American coordinators, offense, defense, and special teams. You never seen that. You alluded to the fact that he has 2 women on his coaching staff. That said, Colin Kaepernick is not a fit for what Bruce Arians does. Bruce Arians likes to push the ball down the field. Kaepernick can throw it vertically, but he's not a guy that is a traditional pocket passer that can play and thrive in this system. I think, yeah, you can try and check off the boxes and say, like, Bruce Arians is maybe black-friendly when it comes to hiring coaches, but just because he is progressive in that vein doesn't mean that Colin Kaepernick is the fit. I don't believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have serious interest in signing him.
All right, so here's one. It is disingenuous and disrespectful to the game for the agent of Colin Kaepernick to think after, or the lawyer, for him to think after 3 years away from the game that he's going to come in and play this year. I am sorry. Listen, you throw some balls on there. Nobody ever questioned the arm talent. The arm talent is elite. I know a lot of guys with elite arm talent in baseball that can't throw strikes. You know where they are? Out of baseball.
Yeah.
So the arm talent has never been a question. If somebody wants to sign him to a futures deal for next year and look at the league and the way the league is changing, the way the league is opting back into running the football and what Lamar is doing in Baltimore, then I would say, okay, that makes sense to me. But if you think you're going to come in and run a traditional offense with Colin Kaepernick right now, who hasn't played in 3 years, he hasn't played in organized football. I don't care how many burpees and sit-ups and how many box jumps you do. You cannot play. It's disrespectful to the game. And so, like, if you're going to sign a futures contract, great. But that's hyperbole. That's garbage to sit there and say, hey, some team is thinking about signing him now. And for anybody who thinks is like, Colin Kaepernick could come in right now and do, you guys are crazy. You know what it's like to get hit after you haven't hit for a while? Woo! Like, how about that constant headache and that constant neck ache the first day of training camp when you came back and put helmets on and started hitting each other again? You're walking around like this. Hey, how you doing? Hey, good. Everybody get over there. Like, you got brain swell going on. Stop. Like, you're going to come in and have him play right now.
I didn't like the whole thing because there was a lack of self-awareness, or it was a circus for people that don't understand football. If Colin Kaepernick were serious about playing football again, he would have run a 40-yard dash because again, he would have shown I can still run the football because that's part of his skill set. He didn't do that. Obviously, the Kunta Kinte shirt and all the other things. And so I think Gagueros is just another guy that wants Colin Kaepernick to play football more than Colin Kaepernick actually wants to play football.
Look, Garagos is clout chasing. Anytime you're in a conversation with the biggest sport in our country, it's naturally going to keep this alive in terms of sensationalism, martyrdom, and all the things that Cap is able to capitalize why he's not a football player. Let's just be real about this. The whole situation was a shoehorn, which I believe came from the settlement. That's why Kaepernick had to take it, and that's why Kaepernick didn't really complain outwardly. But Kaepernick came to a realization that, look, either I go over there and I die, they're going to let me go and perform, and that's not what I want ideally, and that doesn't support my narrative of martyrdom, or I go do my own thing to the tune of now he's saying I want to have another workout at the next owners meeting when they're all in town. Like, that matters. So I could go hours on why this is just all a scam, but I'm going to let you guys understand one thing. Colin Kaepernick, last time on the football field 3 years ago, to your point, Mark, had a lot of empty calorie stats. They were 1 in 10 when he was a starter. You know what that means? You're losing a lot of games. Know what that means? You're behind. Know what that means? 2 people are going to pad their stats. The quarterback of the losing team and the defensive line on the other team. Because we know what's coming, and we're in prevent. Add them yards up. Throw that touchdown. Y'all down 20. Y'all down 10. Like, whatever it may be. So I just seen too many retired guys that look better in air workouts than this. And like you said, the physicality of the game, once removed, it's difficult to come back to that. But this doesn't indicate, nothing jumps off the video screen that says he needs to be in the league right now.
No, I think the biggest thing when it comes to signing a backup quarterback is the backup quarterback has to understand his role. And look, I've been one that has supported Cap and said that, look, he's better than guys that we're seeing on current rosters. However, the backup quarterback has to be quiet. He has to support the starting quarterback. He has to understand his role. When we talk about team, we always talk about we, not me. The thing that took place on Saturday, that was a me thing. I don't know how any decision maker, coach, could sign off on, hey, this guy's going to come in and he's going to be a part of the team. Because everything that he talked about was me-centric. It wasn't about, I want an opportunity to come in and help a team win. It was all about, when are you going to come and get me? We're ready, you're running, all of that stuff. At some point, you have to humble yourself so you can get an opportunity to get back in the league. And he hasn't done it to the point where a team will openly sign him to a contract.
Well, humility doesn't fit the narrative. So obviously, look, the guy is sitting there with two propositions. One, I can get back in the league, kill it, and then all of a sudden I'm bigger than ever. Or I can die on this sword, jump out of this building yelling, it's for the people. And then guess what? That gets me martyrdom and forever iconic status. So a backup quarterback has a different mindset and a different position in the organization. The starters hit the gas and go as far as you can, be as great as you can. Backups hit the gas until you run into the starter and then pump your brakes. Can you pump your brakes with this mentality? Hell no. So the NFL is guilty of one thing. In the settlement, understanding that we got to give this guy another opportunity. But NFL, you could have gave him enough runway where it seemed, at least in perception, that it was an adequate opportunity. But instead, NFL waited to the midnight hour. Hey, see you Saturday. Take it or leave it. You got 2 hours to tell us. Because it was already agreed upon. Yeah, why didn't Cap throw a spasm then? You know why? Because he's like, damn, this is what I asked for. But I ain't asked for it like this. So then they started to lawyer it up and try to jump out the building, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, well, I will tell you this. You look at that whole workout, they still did something for him that they've done for no other person.
True.
And
tried to. They certainly tried to.
Tried to. And so the NFL was here long before Colin Kaepernick. It's a $14 billion a year industry for a reason. It will be here long after Colin Kaepernick's gone. And the bottom line to me is I understand, the golden rule. They have the gold, so they make the rules. That's the way the NFL works. And I still also understand it was a privilege to be a part of it. And I had to make some sacrifices to make that happen, and he's going to have to do the same thing.
Let me say one more thing to Big Dog. Hey, man, the NFL ain't running from you, man. They're just going to walk right by you. And that's the killer. When you realize this game is bigger than all of us, even as a sum. Just put yourself in the right mindset and apply your skills and talents appropriately. If he doesn't do that, he won't get a shot.
Whitlock and Wiley, LeVar Arrington, and Bucky Brooks are back. Let's move to Baltimore, where Lamar Jackson has been running and throwing his way to an MVP caliber season so far, which might be a shock to former Ravens offensive coordinator Marty Mornhinweg, who reportedly wanted to move Lamar to wide receiver last year. Not surprisingly, the report provoked an outcry, and Mornhinweg has denied making the comments. All right, big deal if ex-Ravens OC doubted Lamar Jackson.
Listen to this sentence. Okay, this is based on experience. It's not a big deal he said this, because I think it was tongue-in-cheek, being in the locker room before.
Joking around.
Boy, every coach had a joke. I'm not going to say this coach's name because this is hilarious. But every time this coach would walk in our stretch line and see a white player, back this is like early 2000s, in the running back line, receiver line, DB line. He's like, hey, brothers, y'all going to let this happen?
Oh,
y'all going to let him come in here? I bet he don't run a 4.4. Like, we just clowning, right? Now, imagine if you read that or hear that, or in today's sensitive society and culture, that actually got out.
That's real.
But we took it like, yeah, we're going to lay into the stereotype. Yeah. Lamar Jackson himself leans into this stereotype in this conversation. Every game, he's like, not bad for a running back. You know what I'm saying? But why is this a big deal? Because I think it was actually said. But Marty can't even admit it. Like, we're in a culture that you got to apologize for stuff you really mean. So he got to actually deny that he had a good joke.
Right.
Man, that's sad. So it is a big deal because Marty can't even lay on it.
No, it's a big deal if he said it. And if he didn't say it in jest, it's a big deal because the offensive coordinator works hand in hand with the quarterback. So if he admitted to seeing Lamar Jackson as a wide receiver, then how could he ever pour into him to develop him to allow him to be the best quarterback that he could be? Now, none of us were in the meeting, so no one really knows. But if that was the mentality and the mindset, you do wonder, man, I wonder why they got rid of Marty Mornhinweg. I wonder why they moved off from Mornhinweg to be the OC as opposed to letting him do it with Greg Roman.
Go, go.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a big deal to Marty Mornhinweg because currently he's not working for anybody, right? I mean, this is a shot to his credibility if this sits and
it hurts him.
And it becomes real deal because this guy's so special. So it's not a big deal to Lamar. It's not a big deal to anybody else. But it certainly does hurt his credibility.
Mike Lombardi put this out on a podcast. I'm friends with Mike Lombardi. He used to do this show. Mike's got some good credibility around the NFL. However, I'm just context around the comment is important, as Marcellus has explained. And we must remember that Marty Mornhinweg was the offensive coordinator when Lamar had an amazing second half of his rookie season.
Say it.
So Marty Mornhinweg is sitting out there like, damn, how did I get in this? I was part of the success.
Because he was in the meeting saying, we should probably put him at receiver. We should probably put him at receiver.
No.
We should probably put him at receiver. Then they finally put him in, and then they see him having. I mean, it's possible.
Come on. Just
it's possible.
It's possible, but just think this through. Ozzie Smith, who's in the Hall of Fame.
Newsome, yeah.
Ozzie Newsome, I'm sorry. Ozzie Newsome, who's in the Hall of Fame as a player, and then will probably get there again if they did it again as an executive, just drafted Lamar Jackson. Doo-doo runs downhill. And so when Ozzie and Steve Bisciotti put their name on Lamar Jackson, you have to be a freaking idiot.
Okay, so Marty Mornhinweg didn't want his name on it.
John Harbaugh has also put his... You'd have to be one of the dumbest people in the world not to hop on board. There's things that get decided upstairs here.
Off the top.
That you have to jump on board with.
What week did he start playing? It was mid-season.
Well, they had Flacco.
Did he play 7 games?
Hold on, LeVar. You cannot in any...
Joe Flacco making $20 million. You can't just...
And you can't in any way insinuate that they mishandled Lamar Jackson.
I'm not saying they mishandled it. What I'm saying is Marty Mornhinweg was in them meetings like, let's stick to what we got. Let's do it. He did not have his name connected to Lamar Jackson. He didn't.
But hold on, the comment, we got to use the word.
It's speculative.
It's possible, but not probable. John Harbaugh goes on record, says we are all on the same page with Lamar, and Marty was excited to coach Lamar, instrumental in helping him progress through his rookie season. And everyone's comments are in alignment to that, except a podcast, someone who doesn't have a job, is now going out there and saying, let me attach you to Marty.
Why is he not there then? Answer me that.
I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me.
I'm going to tell you why.
Please tell me.
Because there was a level of commitment that they had to the Lamar offense, and then they saw it, and they went to a deeper level of commitment and said, why we got a middleman on this? Greg Roman can do this in his sleep. Let's eliminate the middleman. Marty, sorry, you got to go. We're turning this over to Greg Roman, who can do this in his sleep. And they were right. It was the right calculation.
Y'all got that reasoning better than the reasoning.
No, but Marty also left. I mean, they didn't fire Marty. Marty said, I'm out.
I'll say maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's the way of getting fired these days.
No.
That is the way you get fired.
They wanted him on staff.
They wanted him. They asked
staff, but they wanted Greg Roman to run it.
But maybe
I'm having a Whitlock moment here.
Maybe this comment,
crazy,
because you talked about context being important.
Yeah.
Maybe this comment was born out of the creativity that they were showing early in the season when they would put Joe Flacco on the field, Lamar Jackson on the field at the same time. And maybe Marty was talking about a play that Lamar Jackson may have made, whether it was as a bubble screen or something like that. I don't have all of his plays prior to being a quarterback. So maybe it was that. The reason Marty has to clean this up because there are more Lamar Jacksons coming than the other guys.
Correct.
And so if he doesn't have kind of the reputation for being willing to take on this kind of project, it's going to be hard to find a job in this new NFL.
I would be upset because he could say, hey, I was a part of the first year's success.
Right.
I need to be an OC somewhere when the next Lamar pops up.
Because he did also have a hand in Michael Vick, having success in Philadelphia. And so when you're trying to save your reputation, you got to come back and speak strongly on it.
The other thing, on the other end of this, I just want to say to young people out there, the reason why this is no big deal for Lamar Jackson is because doubt is pervasive throughout the world. I couldn't get a full-time job coming out of college. I wasn't qualified, and they told me that at the Bloomington, you can't get a full-time job, we'll give you a part-time job. When I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, my second job, they made me go through a 2-week tryout because they didn't think I was ready. They had never done that before. I can walk you through every step of my career where I was doubted. Lamar Jackson, the people that accomplish things in this world, eat doubt for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a bedtime snack. That's why it's not a big deal for Lamar Jackson. Uncle Jimmy will return on Monday. All right, let's talk some Ezekiel Elliott, who has not been as explosive so far this year, with Dak Prescott in the passing game driving the Cowboys offense in recent weeks. Zeke is up against the Patriots, who have been vulnerable against the run at times. Marcellus, you think Zeke has a big game this week against the Patriots?
I think he does. Jerry Jones had to go out there and give him that public vote of confidence, which always wakes you up as a player. Look, if you look at the Patriots defense, it's number one. You don't want to attack them through the air, 19 interceptions, but they've given up 100-plus yards to 3 different runners. And Ezekiel Elliott, is he better than Frank Gore and his old age? Yeah. All right, Nick Chubb, Mark Ingram. So Ezekiel Elliott, the best of those 3. So let's see if he could be the 4th that attacks this defense for 100-plus.
So are you suggesting Zeke's going to go big and Dak's going to go small?
Yeah. Look, Dak, this is no indictment on what you've been doing this year, MVP conversation, but at the same time, I knew that'd get you hot. But MVP, 4th place right now, but still MVP conversation. But if you just have to look at it on paper, you have to say we have to attack this team like Baltimore did, like some teams have, and had tremendous success in the running game, even if you don't have team success.
Cowboys struggle in the running game and passing game this week. They get beat badly by the Patriots, like 18-10. Patriots ain't that good.
That's one possession.
Still. One possession. All right. Look, my approval rating for Zeke, I dropped him down almost to dumpster fire.
Yeah, he's
Scout team. Drop him 10 in job performance. All-time greatness, I drop him. You know, I'm just out on Zeke right now. So I got him at a 41 scout team.
You don't like the nose ring, huh? That's killing you?
No, I don't.
Look, I actually have him up, even though he's still a scout team. You got to respect that 3 games of the last 5, over 100 yards. He's letting Dak lead the team and not saying anything, doing Dak's dance and all that hip stuff and all that. So you got to give love to Zeke.
You know what? We're all in agreement. The internet, we all got him a scout team. We're all in agreement.
Yeah.